Spoiler alert, I ain't apologizing for shit.
Just want to let you know by the end of the video, he will apologize. Also, how'd I do with my Morgan Freeman impression?
Sometimes I feel like people forget that germs existed before the coronavirus. You haven't lived until you felt the warmth of an Uber rider's cough land on the back of your neck. Ugh. Every now and then a rider would get in my car wearing a mask, and it was usually an Asian individual. And I don't mean like they looked Asian, I mean like they were either heading to or coming from the international terminal and they spoke little or no English. Now, I may be wrong, I've never been, but from my understanding, in Asia, even before COVID, wearing masks was a very common thing for people who are sick. But here's the thing, when somebody is sick in my backseat, sniffling and coughing and carrying God knows what international virus, that mask didn't make me feel safe. Fast forward to COVID times, and people seem to be particularly upset that I said my mask protects me. And you know what? I may be dead wrong, and I'm happy that the comment section got to be a place where people could share a bunch more information. And I want to be clear, I'm not complaining about comments. Hearing other people's perspective, especially when it's different than my own, is one of my favorite parts about doing YouTube. Just like it's one of my favorite parts about driving Uber. But I noticed there seems to be such a disconnect as to what people think they're doing when they argue. Not just online, but in person too. I don't know what it's like where you live, but here in Philly, there's quite a bit of homeless folk. And I can't help but laugh when I see the majority of homeless people around Philadelphia wearing masks. Now, whether or not they believe they're helping stop the spread or protecting themselves, or they just learn that unless they have a mask on, I'm not going to roll down my window, that's not for me to judge. All I'm saying is the guy who lives under a bridge has gotten the word on mask and has made a decision as to what works best for him, just like me and you did. That's all we can do with anything at any time, but especially when we're 11 months into a global pandemic in the age of the internet. There is no lack of information on this thing, and for every piece of information that tells me masks are good, I can find more information that says masks are bad. We need to stop with this I know better than you stuff, not just because it isn't fun, it doesn't actually change people's mind. That video wasn't about the validity of masks. That video was about how to stay sane, how not to argue with all these crazy people that think differently than you, because that's how it goes. When somebody thinks different, they're crazy. Maybe I didn't communicate that good enough, and for that I'm sorry, because I think it's a really important message. For me, my peace of mind starts and ends with the decision of letting Dan in my car. After that, if I worried about what kind of mask he was wearing, or if he was wearing it correctly, or what he touched when he was in my car, I would go crazy. Help yourself to a water bottle. My man. There's a mental health aspect of COVID that we've ignored for pretty much the entire time. So long that scientists literally changed the length of quarantine from 14 days to 10 to relieve the stress of it. How does that make any sense? That's like saying we decided 7 plus 7 isn't 14 anymore because it was too stressful to count that high. So from now on, 7 plus 7 is 10. What? Facts don't have feelings, but guess what? Humans do. And 10 out of 10 times when you live your life worrying about what other people say, think, or do, you're gonna feel bad. It's a losing strategy. And that's all I was trying to say in the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I know if I've said it once, I said it a million times, but I just love hearing different perspectives. And even when we disagree, you guys are still down the ride. Driving pun. Driver Ed, over and out.